Hello everyone and a warm welcome to Inspire Africa with me, Jerry Fisaya Bambi. Coming up on this episode, we'll bring you the remarkable story of the meteoric rise of Angola's best golfer, Victor Marçal, who's gaining wide international recognition. The South African mathematician who launched his low-cost solar-powered scientific calculators to help pupils improve their math scores. And later on the show, we head to Doha, Qatar, where the World Cup is happening, to meet with former Tanzanian street child, now turned football icon for street children across the world. This is Inspire Africa. Now, golf is an individual or solo game in which each player keeps track of their own scores, but as compared to other sports, it is often associated with money and status due to the high cost of learning and equipment. One Angolan player, Victor Marçal, however, broke this stereotype.
Angolan golfer Victor Marçal could never have imagined what he would become. But now he has fulfilled one of the biggest dreams by playing at the Gary Player Country Club with former world number one, Luke Donald.
It's a really inspiring story. I mean, I think there's only one grass course in Angola, maybe one sand one too, but self-taught. I heard he grew up as caddying a little bit, and the players thought he was too good, so they said, "You got to come play."
Given the opportunity to grow his game and travel to South Africa, the 39-year-old showcased his skills with an eagle at the par 5 second and a birdie at the 12th. It was here in the sand coast of Morro dos Vedras that he started his career. Victor was born into poverty but rose to become Angola's best golfer in a sport that is typically played by Luanda's elite.
The big difficulty when I was starting out as a golf player was the lack of a golf course, and I also had no equipment. I had to use an iron stick with a band in it when I started, and a wine bottle Coke as a ball. If one day I become a professional, I'll be the first Angolan to do so, because in Angola, we don't have that many professionals.
As his interest and confidence in the sport grew, Victor soon ended up in front of the very same man he plays regularly with today, Manuel Pedro, regarded as father of Angolan golf.
They started out in caddy tournaments and then in caddy and player tournaments. That's when they began training with players. It was at this time that Manusho stood out, plus some other kids, but Manusho was the number one among the outstanding.
Now affectionately known as Manucho, Victor's dedication and perseverance are paying off. He has more than 60 championship titles under his belt, and still hopes for more. More importantly, to continue to inspire aspiring golf players.
South African maths teacher Motupe Nkopa says one of his keen interests is working with children and igniting their passion for numbers. But once he found out that most of the pupils that he was working with did not have basic tools, he decided to address one of them.
After working with children in disadvantaged areas in South Africa and developing their love for numbers, mathematician and entrepreneur Motupe Nkopa decided to launch a low-cost scientific calculator. What makes these calculators different is that they are powered by a solar system and can still work without a battery.
It is important to have mathematics tools in the classroom, to improve performance. And I'll tell you what, the very reason why I started GEL as a calculator was I was in Bakersford. And you'd know it's the worst performing district in the country. And I was asked to come there and turn around the results. I get to a grade 10 class, half the learners don't have a calculator.
In South Africa, small towns have less access to higher level mathematics courses than students in urban settings, which results in lower scores on assessment tests.
Before the calculators, I think maybe 2 or 3 learners out of 52, they had calculators, yes. That is the sad reality.
Meanwhile, this veteran teacher and principal of a Johannesburg-based school believes South Africa's maths pupils' performance woes can be solved by collaboration between government and maths innovators like Motupe.
Since I've been teaching, I've been knowing maths to be this subject that has been feared by either teachers and learners. It therefore tells you that if we are to have equipment as a school, our learners will love maths, our learners will improve on maths.
Mathematician Hopper has, in his entrepreneurial journey, helped improve pupil maths results to average 72% and also got 3 schools in South Africa out of 9 to achieve 100% in maths. This he has maintained for 3 consecutive years, with many learners achieving distinctions.
If you're just joining us, you are watching Inspire Africa with me, Jerry Fisaya Bambi. Now, sports have the power to bring people together like no other medium. There are many physical benefits derived from sports, just as there are many life lessons. For Sadock John, it was in fact more than this. Football took him off crime on the streets and later to the first ever FIFA Street Child World Cup, where he scored the highest number of goals. Today, he's a community activist and an ambassador of the Street Child World Cup. Welcome to Inspire Africa, Sadock.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
First off, nearly all eyes are turned to the FIFA World Cup, one of the biggest sporting competitions in the world. You are in Qatar. How do you feel about it?
It's a great feeling. Last month, there was a Street Child World Cup here in Qatar, and I was here as well.
Speaking about that Street Child World Cup, you were in the first of its kind held in South Africa in 2010. Since then, what has changed for you?
A lot has changed in my life. It has opened a lot of doors for me. Starting in my community, before that, people didn't believe in me. People saw me as a street child who has no future. But after that, they used me as a role model. They wanted me to be near their kids always, so I can share my experience and I can talk to them about the positive changes that has happened to my life and my family. So, and also I got an opportunity to go back to the college. I was a coach in my academy. I went all over the world to talk to street kids and the young people who were desperate, just to inspire them and to tell them it's possible to get off the street and be a very positive person in your community.
And let us go back a little to those dark days when, if I may describe them as such, when you were a street child. What was that like for you?
It was very hard. No one trusts you. You get near anyone, they just run away or they hit you. You have to survive on yourself. You can't even trust your friends in the streets. As I mentioned before, I was this little kid who spent a lot of time with big boys who used me as a person to go through the windows and open the door from the inside so we can steal. A lot of them are in jail. Some of them are dead already. So I think I'm the lucky one, and I'm very happy to be here helping others not to be in the same situation that I was when I was young.
And thankfully, those days are far behind you now. Sadock, what do you think is needed in transforming or reforming a street child involved in criminal activities?
I think it all starts with giving these young people the opportunity to speak from their heart, just to tell the issues they need to change in the community. There's a lot of organizations that are working with these young people, but in some countries the government doesn't support these organizations, or there's no good system to support these organizations. But also for the organizations, they have to give the opportunity to these young people to speak themselves and represent their ideas and the changes they need to see, because they are the experts of this and they know what needs to be changed. Instead of speaking for them, so their voices matters the most.
Football was your dream as you grew up. What's next for you?
I've just started my own organization called the Street Stars Foundation. I run my own business. It's called King of Ibiza, and it's a clothing brand. I design my own t-shirts and I sell in my community. But also behind that idea is I need to have a company, a business which will employ these street-connected young people. So, some of them are good in business. So how can we help them is to start some businesses where we can put them in it and they can work and show how good they are, and maybe some days in the future they can start their own businesses.
Sadock, you've got a lot to be proud of already. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Thanks so much for having me.
And it is on that note that we draw the curtain on this episode of Inspire Africa. You can see it again by going to Africanews.com. Do not forget to also follow us on social media. I am Jerry Fisaya Bambi, and this time I'm leaving you with one of the pictures from Lupita Nyong'o's Instagram, celebrating the success of the superhero film Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I'll see you some other time. Bye-bye.
With the team touch biz.